Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly is. We are going back down the Reddit rabbit hole today with another new story. Revenge is a dish, best served cold. Mine has been cooling for 10 years and counting. I, 40 female, have been married to my husband, 44 male, for 20 years now. We have two kids, 16-year-old girl and 13-year-old boy. My husband is what I consider a high earner by middle class standards. Also, strap in folks, this is going to be long. I've never told anyone. So, my husband cheated on me. I dragged the guilting for almost a decade, then ruined his life and chased him out of town. Okay. 10 years ago, and by complete coincidence, I found out that my husband has been cheating on me with men, and that from before we got married. We live in a small-ish town in the south of the USA. Him coming out as gay will have consequences. I believe that is the only reason he has not come out to anyone. Probably. Not that it should have consequences, but you know, it is what it is. First, here's how I found out he was cheating on me. He got sloppy. Left a credit card bill for a secret card in the pocket of a coat. While going through it, I found all the telltale signs of infidelity. Payments to a hotel in a nearby county, restaurant bills, gifts, flowers, condoms, and lubricant, etc. I started camping outside the hotel on days he told me he would be late, and I saw him bringing different men there. Smart. Listen, don't ever underestimate a woman on a mission. Just saying. I am very good at compartmentalizing and have a great poker face. Comes with growing up in an abusive household. So I was able to give myself the time to cool off and come up with what I should do. First thing I did was get an STD panel since I didn't know how safe he was with his partners. It came out negative, thank God. Then I convinced him that we should use condoms since I was having side effects from the pill. He was okay with it. I had a long think, and I came up to the decision that I was not going to confront him, nor was I going to leave him. He was able to provide me a really good lifestyle, one that I would never be able to afford with my high school diploma. A cleaning lady, a nanny to help with the kids, regular spa days at a country club, a new car every other year, luxury family vacations every year. He was a good dad, a good partner, the cheating aside, and really good in bed. Ladies, this is why we should all be making our own money. But I was not going to let him have a single guilt-free week in his life. That would be my revenge. I started small, planning great date nights for us, telling him that I felt our relationship has cooled, that I wanted the spark back. Then I would sometimes slip into conversation some tea about a cheating husband, a gay man that has been using his poor wife as a beard, complimenting the only gay couple we know for having courage to be real men who were out and proud of themselves. On the other hand, I would praise him as the perfect husband to anyone and everyone, especially if he was in earshot. The amount of guilt gifts I got was astounding. The man was even sending me flowers weekly. It continued the same way for years. I could literally see how much it was weighing on him. Me? Well, my parents were part of the commune with the concept of free love. I was the same. I just considered myself in an open marriage. It seems that cheating is easier to ignore if you are not that big on monogamy in the first place. And my husband was keeping me satisfied, so I felt no need to find a partner of my own. Then, 4 years ago, I guess he met the love of his life. He started seeing just the one guy. I was seriously thinking the ending of the whole thing, especially since I have started a business by then and was able to bring in enough money to support myself and my kids while maintaining my lifestyle. But then he went and introduced his side piece to us. What? fucking brought him into our house, introduced him to our kids, and that was enough for me to keep tormenting him. Apparently, he was a new friend he made while golfing. That's what we're calling it now, golfing. He started hinting at moving to another state, one where it would be easier for him to come out. I refused. I told him that my business was here and I was not going to start over in another state. Also, the kids had their friends and extended family here. It would be unfair to uproot them. Then he started trying to start arguments. I guess he wanted us to fight, then for me to ask for a divorce. I just stopped all those arguments in their tracks. I would just agree with whatever he said. He was right and I was wrong. And to make it up to him, how about a nice dinner and some great sex? He hated that. I knew from spying on his phone that having sex with me felt like cheating on his boyfriend. The audacity of this man. For real. Having sex with my wife feels like cheating on my boyfriend. Okay. I also knew that his boyfriend was pressuring him to leave me almost every day. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He started drinking, and when it got too heavy, that was when I decided that enough was enough. I wanted to ruin his life, but not his health. Also, I grew up with an alcoholic father and did not want that for my kids. So, I gathered all the evidence of his infidelity over the last 9 years. Photos with different men, conversations, his Grindr profile, even though he no longer had one. Everything. Then I hired a divorce attorney and mailed the evidence to his employer. He has a morality clause in his contract. Oh, and adultery breaks it. Really? All his relatives, including parents, as well as our church, his actually, I was never big on religion like him. It was like a big bomb exploded. He was fired. The congregation turned on him for cheating, not for being gay. Let's keep that straight. I would never allow my kids to be part of a church that discriminated against their father, even if he was not out. His parents wouldn't take him in after I kicked him out, and he was shamed publicly. Got to love that small town gossip mill. And the cherry on top, his boyfriend was run out of the town and couldn't follow him because he wanted to fight for custody of our kids. Now, almost a year later, I am a free woman. I got to keep the house, my car, and my business. He got 75% of retirement and investment accounts. But he won't be paying alimony. I got full custody, he got visitations, and I got child support. He had to move 6 hours away to find a new job. Couldn't put the last job he worked at his whole life as a reference. His relationship with his family is rocky. His reputation in town is ruined, so he can't move back anytime soon. The love of his life left him for good, and my kids only tolerate him because I did my best to shield them and to tell them that he's still a good father to them. Well, to be fair, what he did to you, it's not a reflection on what kind of father he is. I'm just saying. He could still be a good dad. I also made sure to treat him politely, never talked bad about him, and had a lengthy talk about how their father being gay is okay. It's who he is, and that's not his fault. That the only wrong thing he did was hide it from me. So, I guess the result of his cheating was years of guilt followed by a ruined life. Let's make something clear. I am not the good person in this story. We were both bad. I am not here trying to get pats on the back or to be told that I did well. I know that what I did was messed up. I'm here because I wanted to tell someone, and I can't do that in real life. Fair enough. eBay seller goes postal on me after sending me a tampered item. So I forwarded his email to the police. Just what they needed. This story is my true account of an issue I had with a seller on eBay back in 2015. I am new to Reddit, so I figured now was as good a time as any to tell my story. few years back, I purchased a small squeeze bottle of my favorite natural rice milk lotion on a popular auction site called eBay. I purchased my lotion and the seller shipped out fast. Cool. This specific lotion was always out of stock and I hadn't been able to find it for some time now. So, you can't imagine how excited I was to find a too good to be true discount on eBay for the full size bottle. I've since become more cautious. For reference, the usual price, not during the holidays, for this lotion was around $50. I was only ever able to afford it during the holidays, and this was mid-June. So I figured I had really scored big time at $10 less than the sale price. I just figured they had old stock they were trying to get rid of before the dates expired. Oh, how wrong I was. A week goes by and I receive my lotion in the mail. Let me stop here and inform everyone that I have severe allergies to most lotions, shampoos, and fragrances. But if the lotion is made all natural with real essential oils and no harsh chemicals, my skin doesn't react at all. I have eczema. I blame my childhood self of drowning my skin in Bath & Body Works for my abrupt adult allergies and benzenes and other similar 15-letter plus chemical ingredients, but I digress. I'm fine. So, I get the lotion in the mail and immediately put it in the fridge to chill. I notice there are no other packaging or letters to accompany the lotion. Not a big deal. But having 15 years on eBay as first a seller, then a buyer, sellers usually are really big about giving thank you cards and not so much chucking the merchandise into a box with no protection. This is true. Fun fact, I have been selling on eBay for a very long time. This is true. I send you beautiful packages. I wrap them very gorgeous, and I send you notes, and I send you gifts. Just saying. It's highly encouraged to get yourself out there and protect everything in bottle wrap as part of the packing instructions. The red flag. I quickly noticed that the return address had been cut off of the shipping label with scissors. Okay, that's bad, considering if I needed to return the merchandise and eBay for some reason doesn't work with me or the seller doesn't have returns and the system refuses my return, I wouldn't be able to return it for my money back if it were, say, expired or not as described. Listen, I don't give you problems. I don't think most sellers give you problems, but if the seller gives you problems, most of the time, eBay will have your back. I will say that. Unless you're a fraud and the seller can prove that you're a fraud, then you don't deserve it. They would just tell me to try and work it out with the seller, and more often than not, you get ghosted if they are being dishonest anyway. So, I take the lotion out of the fridge and I pop the cap. There's no safety seal in place. I tell myself, ew, this lotion always had a safety seal. Against my better judgment, and I already know this was stupid, but at the time, I wasn't fully on the seller has duped me train yet. I squeeze a small dollop of lotion out onto my fingers and fully expecting the fragrance of medical essential oils to hit me. I was met with nothing. Nothing. I wipe off the lotion onto some paper towels. Now I'm concerned. This lotion was also a lot thinner than normal. That's when I realized there is a smell, but it's very faint. Almonds, cherries, damned if it wasn't Jergens. A dollar store lotion I often used to get, but had developed a severe allergy to in the past few years. All right, here's the thing. There's nothing funny about this now. Because she has severe allergies. She could have had a really bad allergic reaction that could have lasted a long time. Maybe it did, I don't even know yet. That's when I noticed my fingers starting to itch and burn in painful pinpoint areas on my fingertips. I hadn't washed my hands. I dropped the lotion bottle on my bed and ran to the bathroom sink. dousing my hands in cold water and re-washing them as the tissue under my fingernails began to flare. After my small panic attack in the bathroom, I come back, take 2 Benadryl, and sit and think. I angrily toss on a glove from a hair color kit I had and toss the lotion back into the box. I have my husband tape it back up. I use my good hand and start scrolling through my order history, landing on the lotion sale. I scold myself for not looking at the seller history before ordering. My tired lapse in judgment getting the better of me. I can't speak today. I go through and find multiple negative feedback where the seller had all but insulted every negative feedback given. They always had something to say to try and cover themselves. Batch inconsistency excuses, blaming the buyer for their mailbox being in the sun multiple times for different reviews, etc. Having the experience I do with wonky eBay sellers, I start with pictures. My hand, now fully flared, the item with no seal and laid in its box. I typed out my findings as clearly as possible, and the seller immediately rebutted with a clear buyer's remorse case and somehow had the case dismissed. That's terrible. I then attempted to appeal, but was told eBay's decision was final and automated. I messaged the seller asking why they refused my return request and was met with the sobering response, "You can return the item at your own expense at any time if you like." And I was then ghosted. I responded with my explanation and a photo on the shipping label with the address cut out. No one ever replied. The next night, I respond steaming with the rage of a woman who has been wronged at this point with, "If you wish to play with my help, then we will play your game, sir. Good luck." I get a response less than 2 minutes later, swearing me out and, for lack of a better word, calling me every feminine insult in the book in the most foul of wording possible and generally just mocking me in general. I received 10 emails through eBay of him egging me on to, "Oh, what's the matter? You effing see you next Tuesday. You won't do shit." Wow. At this time, it is clear to me that the seller has an obvious mental problem and I have the biggest bull in my court. You can't swear on eBay. So, I screenshot all my messages and add them to my for later folder, and I then contact eBay customer service, this time during business hours. I met with a very nice lad who I then invite to take a look at my messages in the eBay system. He obliges, and 5 minutes later, I'm met with a chat message in a very serious tone, apologizing on behalf of the entire eBay team for their negligence in this situation. And the same spiel of this is not how we want our customers to be treated on eBay. I am then told that my chat has been noted and a report has been made on my behalf, and I'm giving a link to also report the seller myself in my own words. I am offered my money back on eBay's behalf. I mull it over and ask, is this money coming from the original sale back from the seller or from eBay? And he responds with, "From eBay, ma'am." I immediately respond with, "I would like to ask PayPal first." I told him it was the principle of the matter. And it is the principle of the matter. No seller should ever get away with this shit, and I'm a seller. First, I told him it was the principle of the matter that I was looking for justice and not money at this point. And he kindly accepts and says that if I need eBay to step in and refund me, that all I need to do is come back and give them the reference number he provided me with, and he wished me luck. I then report the seller through eBay and flag all of our messages. My petty revenge. I take my folder of photos and email screenshots over to PayPal. I've been with them for years and they have never allowed this type of behavior. And yes, the crazies of eBay are in fact becoming more and more popular these days. I find my transactions and start a case. I give them everything, including the notes from all the emails I received. I then report the seller as well and lie in wait. He emails me through my PayPal address a week later. I receive a string of insults a mile long calling me a liar. I was told very obscene things, and he signed the email very specifically with, "I'll F your mother, I'll F your Allah." Oh, wait a minute. Where is this going? I promise you, I can't make this crap up. I first had to Google who Allah was. For context, I'm a 30-year-old mother from the South, and am a bit confused at this point because I have no idea who this is coming from, and I have no friends who'd prank me like this, and the only person I've pissed off at this point was Mr. eBay. I have a pretty good idea. The email is a throwaway Gmail account, and I immediately block and report it as junk, taking screenshots first. I'd love to leave it there, but I did, however, being in my late 20s and not being able to take anything seriously at the time, sent back a single GIF with a vampire from the movie 30 Days of Night saying, "No God." I have a sick sense of humor when met with violence. I receive a quick response from PayPal less than 48 hours later after my claim, informing me that the appropriate action has been taken with the unit number, and they take actions of fraud very seriously. I was not allowed to know what came of the seller, but their eBay account has since been terminated. Okay. This dude goes postal in real life because he has your address. I get a letter in the mail 2 weeks later. My address is handwritten with no return address. The words are simple and have been typed out. I F your mother, I F your Allah, and nothing else. Unrelated, I've received my refund from PayPal at this point, which had to involve PayPal forcibly removing the funds from his account. I take photos of the letter. I then pull his address from his seller shop profile on PayPal, and then take the screenshots of the email I received, as well as the photos of the shipping label that had been cut on. The address is in LA. I then email LAPD and send them the photos and screenshots and tell them I'm afraid for my life. I was thanked for my email, but due to certain laws, I was not allowed to be made privy of the outcome of this ongoing investigation. Oh my God, there's an ongoing investigation, and that's where it ended. This was honestly terrifying for me, and it's made me a lot more careful to read negative feedback on eBay before I buy anything, especially if the price is too good to be true or the seller is mouthing off in response or seems confrontational. Please also know that I am not insulting, nor have I ever insulted anyone else's religious beliefs. I'm a little upset that I cannot know what happened. But I really hope everything worked out for you. Just be careful, because at the end of the day, he has your address. Okay, last one. Oh my God. I'm putting together a group chat consisting of the 27 girls my ex is currently sleeping with to send out the day he moves out. Who has time to sleep with 27 people? So, me, 32 female, and the devil, 30 male, have been together for 2 years. In March, he took me to look at engagement rings after telling both of our families at Christmas that we were going to probably be getting engaged this year. We've lived together for the last 2 years. Wait, haven't you been together for 2 years? How fast did you guys move in together? We have lived together for the last 2 years, and I thought we were happier than we've ever been together. But a week after looking at the engagement rings, he had a threesome with a married couple. Apparently, he'd gotten permission from the husband to sleep with the wife right before Christmas as well, and had been having an ongoing emotional affair with her ever since. Oh, Lord. I'm sorry if you're into that. I don't understand that. There's so many more important details. I simply cannot add here because of the space that's given. Perhaps I can add in an update or the comments for more context if needed. But skipping to the end, he was on dating apps the moment we broke up, and I had to watch him get ready to go on dates while I laid in bed and sobbed. He started to gaslight me into believing for a month that my trust issues were the problem and the ultimate cause of our relationship ending. For the entire month, he was fine with watching me waste away, blame myself, and lose my grip on reality. I lost 13 pounds during this month, and then on my birthday, he finally told me that he was having a sexual affair. Curiosity got the best of me, and I looked at his iPad. I did a deep dive into his texts looking for answers, and I found out he's currently texting 27 different women and letting them believe that he's available and wants to be with them. He even has told one girl in her early 20s that he's going to move in with her and run away with her to start a new life, and that he's in love with her. He met her 12 days ago. At the same time, he was sending sexual content to another woman and setting up a hookup tonight. I wrote down every phone number, and I'm going to meet up with two of the girls tomorrow that used to have dealings with him in the past, that I met through the T app. They had very similar experiences to mine, and they're going to help me write out what the message should say. I also have come to believe that he never actually wanted to be with me, and he was only using me for a cheaper place to stay and because he thought I could help his acting career. One of the girls I'm meeting up with has DMs from him back from when we first moved in together that show he is at least trying to cheat on me. I'm sure once I go public, I will have a lot more concrete evidence as to what was actually happening during our relationship. I'm going to be making a couple of different TikTok videos about the entire situation to make it more public as a warning for the women he will meet throughout his life. I have poured so much into this relationship, financially, emotionally, and I truly bought into the fact that we were in a loving, healthy relationship and getting married. I felt so incredibly blindsided, used, and naive. If I can save other girls from feeling this way and wasting their time and getting their hearts broken, I will consider it worth it. I'm going to be sending a separate message to his friends and family who I have grown very close to since we've begun dating. I know this will burn a bridge, but honestly, it's a bridge that isn't mine anymore. And if there's any hope of anyone ever setting him straight, it's going to be them, and not these women that he finds so expendable. Sadly, we're still currently living together, and I will have to wait until the day he moves out because I don't know what the repercussions of this will entail. But I am a woman scorned. He has taken everything from me, and I have nothing left to lose. So enjoy the crash out. I will bid my time over the next few weeks, making a detailed list of who he is with every single day to add to the list of info I'm going to be sending to the women. Update 1. This is my original post. I had to delete it among safety concerns because we are currently still living together. He moved out last Sunday, and this morning the messages went out. In total, the number ended up being 42 women. Unfortunately, I didn't get anyone off of dating apps. These were just the women he was texting. He had a woman flying in to spend time with him for about a week in the next couple of days, and she canceled her flight. At the moment, the response has been overwhelmingly positive, with everyone being very grateful for me to have saved them for what I went through. I am shocked that there has not been one negative thing said to me yet. Well, what could they say to you? I'm lying. People will find something negative to say to you. He did send out a message to his mom privately, to his brother and friends about a lot of his behavior, and I did not get any responses, which isn't surprising, but it's still disappointing nonetheless. I didn't delete all of our stuff off Instagram, and I went back and changed the caption to a warning for the girls that I missed because they weren't texting him, and I already had a girl reach out and tell me that she had plans to meet up with him next week when she was back in town. She has since blocked him, and we are currently grabbing coffee when she's back. So far, no word from him. There's not much to say when I have proof of everything, but I'm sure this is just the beginning. I will keep everyone updated as everything unravels. Update 2. We are 24 hours into everything. I decided to go massively public. I put videos on my TikTok detailing most of the story and changed the caption to a warning on one of the really cute videos I had made during our relationship. I kept some of the details to myself. I know for a fact he's also starting 2 different OnlyFans accounts. I saw the graphics that he was working on in his photos in the text, planning on how to go about it with somebody that he's going to be collaborating with. I also didn't mention the sex parties that he is attending. Maybe some last line of loyalty. At the moment, it felt like a line too far, but I've told the ladies about it so they have the full picture. I'm a little worried that he's selling sex tapes that were not meant for that purpose on OnlyFans. A lot of girls have sent him nude and probably made tapes with him because it's the first thing he asks. He is doing this too hard to believe in this whole story. He's a very good looking guy and he's extremely charming. He's everyone's exception. He was mine and he was most of theirs. He gets away with a lot, and I think this is probably the first time in his life he's been held accountable for anything. I'm not sure if this is allowed, but if you want to see the videos, okay, let's not do that. They're in a little bit of wisdom on all platforms. Okay. He still hasn't said anything to me, and I don't think he ever will again. I know that he sees what is happening because he untagged himself in all of our photos on Instagram. But I think his silence speaks volumes to the validity of everything I'm saying. Update 3. My boyfriend took out a DV restraining order on me. I received a letter from a lawyer asking if I wanted to retain his services for my upcoming legal case. I had no idea what he was talking about, so I looked up the case number and found out about all of this and ended up reading my ex's statement. He was stating that since there was a firearm in the house, he was worried that I would go to his residence and use it on him when there has been no threats or DV of any kind. The firearm is also not mine, but an old roommate that left it and moved to a different state. Important to note because I've never handled it. And while my ex was living here, he had it in his custody and even threatened to use it on himself when we were first breaking up. Basically, he's trying to manipulate the legal system into silencing me, as well as punishing me, revealing his true nature. But I have documents from my therapist proving everything in his statement was a lie, and statements from multiple women depicting what he did to them, along with all the screenshots of his journal and of the messages between him and other women and many other forms of evidence. Court is today. I'll let you know how it goes. Yes, please. Update 4. Sorry it's taken me so long to update. Once I walked out of court, I wanted to just forget the situation and try my best to move on as much as possible. But going back to court, he never showed up. The judge dismissed the case. I talked to the bailiff before I left, and they said that if he tries to put another restraining order on me, and there really is no evidence like there was this time, then it's possible to charge him with a felony for false reporting. Things that count in my favor for that is the fact that he never had me served or came to court, and he can't prove anything in his statement while I have over 200 different documents proving everything that I am stating, including statements from therapists, ex-girlfriend, parents of exes, and the police. I've come to realize the situation was a lot more serious than I was originally thinking. What he has been doing to so many women is absolutely diabolical, and I don't know how I could sleep at night. I was wondering how I would feel the longer time goes on about what I did. I've never handled a breakup this way. I think I just reached a breaking point with being lied to and cheated on, which in a way has been good for me to reevaluate things in myself that I need to change to not make these kinds of decisions again. The one thing I keep coming back to is the amount of women who I helped in the process, and if nothing else, the fact that they didn't have to go through this makes it all worth it for me. But I do feel like it allowed me to reclaim some of my power, and it burned a bridge that definitely needed to be burned. Overall, I feel like I have really turned a corner and how I view myself and what I will accept going forward in many aspects of my life. I'm finding joy in the small town moments again, and I feel like I'm falling back in love with living. I see myself in a different way, and I have gained a massive amount of respect for myself for walking away and never looking back. I appreciate the outlet this has been. Thank you for your kind words. Listen to your gut always. You deserve the absolute best, and if you're not getting it, then you're not in the right place. Beautifully said. If you guys are still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to, because it really helps me out, and I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.